Welcome to Daytona Beach, Florida, home to America's premier muscle car showroom, Hankster's Hot Rods, where we own and house anywhere from 65 to 80 vehicles at any given time. If you are watching the vehicle we are about to present to you today on any other advertisement other than Hankster's website, which is hanksters.com, please be sure to visit our website so you can determine whether this is in fact a current vehicle that we have for sale. If you are watching this on YouTube, on classiccars.com, on Hemmings, this vehicle may no longer be available for sale. We own all of our cars, so you're dealing directly with the seller. There are no third parties involved. We are not a consignment dealership. We welcome all of you to visit Hankster's Hot Rods to look at the vehicle you might be purchasing. We encourage all of our buyers to come in person. Daytona Beach is a great tourist destination. There's a lot to do here. It's a fun 2-3 day trip, maybe even a week-long trip. Come check out our cars for yourself. Check out underneath. We'll take it on a test drive, have some fun. Hanksters.com, and if you want to reach us by phone, it's 386-944-9219. Enjoy today's presentation.
Okay, this is the very original engine bay of a 1972 Chevy Nova. Really interesting piece here. Pretty high option car. It has the 350, 270 horse engine in it, still cast iron manifold, both exhaust and intake. It has the Quadrajet 4-barrel carburetor. It is a 4-barrel car. This guy has power steering, power brakes, and factory air conditioning. You believe that? Factory air conditioning back then. You can see everything is nice and fresh and clean, just the way it should be. Someone's installed a new alternator recently. You can guarantee that there's new belts all over it because Donnie replaces about every belt on every car we get. Has the correct plastic shroud and clutch fan also, the way the car came originally. It has the cover over the high flow radiator that these guys were released with the original tag showing that it's a 350 engine on top of it here. The condenser in front of the radiator is nice and clean and clear. There's no marks, no indentures on it whatsoever. Same thing for the core support for the radiator. You can see it's nice and fresh and clean. Donnie apparently has put a new battery in this guy already for you. Has the correct air cleaner, single snout with the down tube even. It goes to your cast iron manifolds, which by the way have been, look like they're high temp coated during the restoration so that there's no rust or anything, no scale or anything on the cast iron exhaust manifolds. All the hoses and everything are nice and fresh. Everything on this car is just the way it was in 1972 when it was released by General Motors. It has a new vacuum booster on it, dual stage master cylinder, all the associated lines and your distribution block. Everything is nice and fresh and clean the way it should be. The original washer bottle still intact and hooked up also. So I'm going to guess that it is functional. This is a really great looking engine compartment. It has a lot of originality to it. Oh, by the way, the cowl tag is still on the cowl and very legible. Very nice condition on this thing. It has the little rubber seal in the front that most of them are missing, and also the one in front of the cowl panel in front of the windshield, and that's intact yet. It's a real original looking car, 1972 Nova, 4-barrel, 350, automatic steering, brakes, and air. Got to take a look at this one. We're going to go around the rest of it. This is a 1972 Chevy Nova. A really great looking car. The paint on it, I'm going to call it above a driver quality, and the fit and finish and everything is very, very nice. We'll point out any imperfections that we can as we go around this guy. But look at the fit of this hood up to the cowl area, to the fender on both sides. It still has the original SS style grading on the hood, just the way they came. Look at the fit of this guy. Look at this. This is usually banged up a little bit. This one is not. A couple of very, very light scuffs on the front of this bumper. You won't see them in the video, but I'm telling you they're there. This panel in the front is nice and clean. Again, usually these things have 2 or 3 cracks in them. This has none. All the windows in the grille are real nice and clean. SS designation on the front. Your 2 end pieces at the end of the fenders are usually deteriorated. These are not. They're just as fresh and clean as can be. Amber parking lights in the front of the bumper. There's no stones up through the years whacking the front of this bumper either. I don't see any marks or scuffs on it at all. Very, very nice looking car. Has some custom striping down the side of it, kind of like what would be on a 69 Chevelle, very, very close to that. 350 designation on the front, because that's what this guy is. Side marker lamp has no deterioration on the chrome bezel whatsoever. And again, look at this. I'm telling you, it doesn't get any better than that with these cars. Look at this. The door fitment, the cowl, the fender, the hood, spot on. Correct wiper arms and blades, tinted windshield, and tinted glass on the sides also. Where the dash transitions to the base of the windshield, super clean. The VIN tag on the front of the dash here is just as nice and clean and legible as can be. Obviously, it's a vinyl top car. I don't see any, there's a little tiny bit of a lift here, a little tiny bubble, but hardly noticeable, and it's certainly nothing that would be addressed. Trim around the windshield, absolutely spot on. Same thing around the doors, and you can see the fitment. And the drip rail has no marks whatsoever on it. A set of sport mirrors on it. Your wipes whiskers are nice and clean and fresh. Really good looking car so far. And again, I'm going to point out the fit of the door to the front fender and to the rear quarter panel. Look at that. It just doesn't get any better than that. Rocker panel molding has no marks on it from anybody whacking it through the ears with their heels. The wheels on this car are a set of Kelsey Hayes SS wheels, just like would have been on an SS car in 1972. This is a great set of wheels and tire combinations for this. They're 14-inch, which would be appropriate for a 1972 Nova. And check this out. This is the original, not a replacement. This is the original door tag that coincides with the fender tag and the cowl tag. So you got all the tags matching on this guy. The door panels are absolutely as fresh and nice and clean and new as you could ever hope to find. Your actuators, both window and door. Also a remote mirror on this side. This guy's a pretty high option car. You just don't see these things with that many options on them. Column shift bench seat car, but it does have seat belts in the front, seat belts in the rear, and shoulder belts. And everything is still intact and just the way it was from the factory. Carpeting is nice and fresh and clean in it. The seats show no wear whatsoever. I'm sure they've been reupholstered, but there's absolutely no indication of wear anywhere on this guy. Dash pad, looking from here, we'll get a better look once we get inside of it, but dash pad is nice and fresh. There's no curves or marks on it or cracks whatsoever. The correct style steering wheel for this guy. You notice that the gauge enclosure is also nice and clean and fresh looking. Door closes just like it should, and look at the fitment. Again, just as nice as you'd hope to find. Let's see, trim around the back window just the way it was around the front. There's absolutely no marks whatsoever on this trim. Usually you find it from people hammering it on, trying to get it on, but there are none, absolutely none. Hat, shelf, rack, tray, whatever you want to call it, has the correct style speaker enclosure covers on it, and the cover itself, the tray cover, is fresh and clean. Even the back part, this piece of molding here usually deteriorates some. This is not. Everything is fit finitely. Very, very nice. Again, look at the deck lid on this thing, same as it was on the hood. You can't get any better than that. That's just as fresh and clean as you'll ever get anywhere. Back panel, correct for an SS car. Just a nice, fresh looking car. No matter where you look on this car, it's a good looking car. I forgot to mention, I just felt them here. There are a couple of little marks here. Again, nothing that you would address. You probably won't even see them, but there are a couple little marks in the paint here. And if you look, the door, the bottom part of the door is like one shade off. I don't know why. It maybe had been scratched at one point in time and then dusted over again. You probably won't notice it in the video, but I'm telling you, there is a little bit of a mismatch in the paint. Probably nothing that you'd want to address. You'd probably leave it just the way it is. It's a good looking car just the way it is. Chrome on the bumper in the back, same as it was on the front, only this guy, I don't see any marks on it. I don't see any scuffs whatsoever. Now comes something really important. Anything that you want with this car, we have in documentation. Here's a protective plate, something that everybody wants for one of these guys, okay? Here's a copy of, well, it isn't a copy, this is the original window sticker. Here it is off the car. It tells you everything about the car. I mean, absolutely everything. Absolutely everything. Shows you everything that you want to know about the car and its options. There's another copy of it that would be the tissue from the dealership. Basically the same thing, but it's in a different configuration. Again, there's a protective plate. Here is the original build sheet window sticker that would have been stuck somewhere, probably behind a door panel or under the seat. Here's state of Florida safety check back in 1989 yet for registering the car. Here are the original sales brochures, the paperwork showing you from the dealership what this car was, and it gives you all your Nova models and everything you want to know for 1972. Also, all your consumer information, including the original owner's manual for the car, and here's the original checklist from the dealership where it originated. And speaking of dealerships where it originated, how about this? Here's a picture of the original dealership where the car came from, Pine Belt Chevrolet. There's a few different photos of it, and there's a plate frame for them also, and a license plate for the front. Everything that you would want documentation-wise for this car is here. It does have a spare tire in it with its base, and it also has a jack. So you have everything with this car. Original jacking instructions. This has not been replaced. This hasn't been painted. This is the way that car came from the factory. Nice trunk area. No indications that anything's been replaced on the floor or in the quarter panels. Okay, passenger side. Same thing we saw on the driver's side. Everything is really nicely lined up. Trim on this side the same way as the other side. Again, the vinyl top is just as nice and tight and fresh as you'd ever hope to find. I don't know what happened here. Somebody getting out of the back seat or something must have caught this little piece of trim and pulled it. There's a little bend on it where it was pulled out and then someone tapped it back into place. So this particular piece it's original, but it looks as though it's been pulled a little bit. I don't know if you'd want to replace it or not. I don't think it's worth it. But there is the gap on the door to the quarter panel, just as fresh as you can get. Here's the original tire information for this vehicle, the way it was installed by GM. Didn't mention too the sill plates on both sides of this car are original and as nice as you'd ever hope to find anywhere. There's also a trio of gauges underneath the dash I didn't notice from the other side. Actually telling you, I'm not sure it's going to be amps, temperature, and oil pressure, but we'll see once we get into the car. Molded armrests the way they would be and should be. In front, Devin will show you a lot of high-resolution photos, but in front of the door, your door jambs are just as fresh and clean as you'd ever hope to find. Also, there's new rubbers all around this guy, too. Forgot to mention on the other door, but the rubbers are very nice and resilient, and you can see they're just as fresh as could be. Door closes just the way it should. Again, the wipes whiskers, tinted glass on the sides. Really there's really nothing to tell you. Right-hand side mirror, sport mirror that coincides with the left-hand side, which is a remote mirror. And again, look at this fitment. Yeah, can't get any better. This is as good as it gets on this old stuff. This is no new Ferrari or Porsche GT3 or anything. This is an old Chevy, and you just cannot get them to fit any better than it is. And we're back where we started again. Again, the paint on this side is very nice. It's above the driver quality paint jobs. A few little tiny imperfections that I tried to point out a few of, but the car is an absolute knockout. It's a very high option car. It has all the documentation, all the literature with it. It's in a great color combination. Yeah, it does have a bench seat instead of buckets, but it's got a column shift and steering brakes and factory air, not put in by another company or something, Vintage Air. This is factory air conditioning on this car. The correct style wheels, the correct style, everything on this car just reeks originality, and you have all the paperwork for it. And it's here at Hanksters in Daytona Beach, and Devin's going to spend some time compiling all the videos and all the still pictures so you can take a look at it. But take a look at it because it's the Daytona Beach Hanksters. Okay, this is the underside of our 72 Nova. Like a copper gold color, really pretty combination, you know, with the black vinyl top. Disc brakes in the front. Everything looks to be new and fresh. Calipers are nice and fresh. Rotors, hard to see behind the plates, but they look to be fresh also. A set of newer yellow shocks in the front. Don't know what manufacturer they are. The tie rod ends, everything you can see has been replaced on it. No leaks on the engine. the bell housing area, transmission, or the tail shaft at this point. That doesn't mean somewhere down the road you're not going to find oil on the floor. It's a muscle car, you will. Heavy duty sway bar in the front, and it looks like new bushings in it also. See, the ball joints appear to have been replaced. Fender wells really nice and clean. No one's made any attempt to jack them up on the fender well area. The subframes in the front, there's not a single indentation. I don't see anything here that even indicates it's been jacked up on these through the years. But anyway, the subframes are very, very nice and clean. Original floor pans in the front. Your structural supports through the floor pans going back through the car all appear to be original and correct. Functional parking brake, cast iron exhaust manifolds. I'm going to call these 1 7/8". I don't think they're 2-inch, but they could be close to a 2-inch primary pipe coming off the cast iron exhaust manifolds and heading toward the rear of the vehicle. Again, take a look at the floor pans on this thing. They're absolutely gorgeous. There's no marks or indentures on them anywhere. It doesn't appear that anyone's jacked it up on them through the years. You can see the original seat belt both still intact. Original brake lines going toward the rear of the vehicle. Original fuel line also wire wound going through the rear of the gas tank. Wow, no leaks on the speedometer. You can see that also. Turbo 350 tranny in it. I'm going to call it a new U-joint in the front of the drive shaft. The drive shaft's nice and clean. There's no indication of any deterioration at all underneath this vehicle. Absolutely none. Subframes in the back where they transition up over the rear differential. You can see it is a multi-leaf rear suspension on this guy with the staggered shocks on it. They do that for a torque bias. It is a 10-bolt Chevy heavy-duty rear in it. I don't know if it's positive or not. Donnie will tell you that in the description. Gas tank is the original gas tank that came with this guy. And where the subframes transition up over the rear differential, the floor pans in the trunk, which you could see from our trunk presentation, are absolutely gorgeous. There's no indication of any deterioration through the years at all on them. Absolutely none. And check this out, the original equipment style transverse muffler for a dual exhaust system. They use these guys in Camaros and Novas. It was a great, nice system. It was lightweight and it was very functional. And it kept the undercarriage of the car nice and clean also. Oh, let's see here. Drop downs in the quarter panels are the original ones yet. You can see that. They still have their rubber drain plugs in them. Both sides of them. The structural supports of the trunk area in the back, the transition over from the subframes in the rear, absolutely no pulls whatsoever on it, no dents, no indication of any trauma whatsoever. This is a really nice car underneath. It has a lot of originality to it. There's no indication of anything being repaired or in need of any attention whatsoever. Even has all the original spot welds up to the rocker panels from the floor pans. It's a fresh round of rubber on it. You can see that also. Disc in the front, drums in the rear. I don't know what else to tell you about it. It's a good looking car. It's a 72 Nova with all the paperwork you could ever want for any Chevy. And all Chevy guys want is paperwork. Protect the plate, everything. You got it. It's all with this car. Great looking combination, color-wise, engine option-wise. Take a look at it. It's in Hangsters. It's a nice car. Okay, this is the interior of our 72 Nova. Copper with a, I call it copper, I guess it's the color of gold, with a black vinyl top, black interior, bench seat. Even has the original shoulder belts on it yet. Horn works just like it should. Adjustable rear view mirror on the driver's side works just like it should. Gas gauge, Jeff gave us just a little bit over a half a tank of gas to go play with this thing. Left turn signal, look at that. It's got the old LED lights in it, LEDs. How about that? I bet the headlights have it there. Yep, you can see them behind there, so they put dash lights in it. The one on the right also, turn signal indicator working as it should. Check this out, a clock that works. And clocks and radios we don't do. If they work, they work, and if they don't, they don't. This guy has a working clock in it. Wonder if the radio works.
Has awarded nearly 900,000
Do you believe that?
scholarships and counting.
Huh.
That means
It's got a radio that works too. Unbelievable. Got a trio gauges down here showing you the alternator is charging. It does have a new alternator on it, by the way. Temperature coming up, we're about 150 degrees right now, and oil pressure's, what is it, about 50 pounds right there. Let's try air conditioning. Air conditioning is on, and it is ice cold too. That baby is blowing. Nice cold air conditioning. That's a good addition today. It's about 150 out here right now. Probably get warmer this afternoon though, as soon as it starts to rain. Okay, we're gonna go for a ride and see what this guy runs like. It sure looks good and everything works in it. Everything. Okay, we're going down the road in this thing. I'm telling you what, this is a heck of a car. No hands, straight as an arrow. Absolutely straight as an arrow going down the road. Absolutely beautiful. Let's try brakes, no hands. There's nobody behind me right now, so we'll try brakes, no hands. There is brakes, no hands. Look at this. Doesn't pull, doesn't do anything wrong. Tranny shifts nice and firm. It's not overly harsh, but it's not sloppy either. It has a nice firm shift to it. Speedometer is working as it should. There's no jumpiness to it or anything. And again, you can see all the gauges functioning as they should. Everything. It's a nice car. It's also nice and cold in here. I think I'll stay here the rest of the day. Wow. It's cooler in here than it is at my desk back in the corner. This is a very nice car. Steering wheel doesn't have any deterioration. I'm just going over a bunch of little stuff that I see. All your trim around the windows is very nice and clean. There's no deterioration on the mirror, no milkiness or anything. Again, these turn signals, wow, these LED lights, they definitely get your attention. This is a nice car. Shot here. There's a guy coming up behind me. It's a nice running car. Ran it up a little over 60 miles an hour. I got some farm equipment in front of me here. I can't go any faster, but really a straight, nice running car. Look at this. I mean, it just does not get any better than this. Car runs straight, drives straight. There's no shakes, shimmies, rattles, squeaks, nothing. Nothing that we could, nothing. The sun visors are absolutely in great condition. They're not deteriorated at all. Your soft trim around the windows, the doors themselves, everything is as nice and fresh as you'd hope to find. And look at this. I mean, it just goes down the road by itself. You can eat a sandwich while you're talking and then don't have to worry about driving it as long as the road's straight. Look at this. It's amazing. This is a great car. If you're in the market for a Nova with documentation, a super sport style Nova, you got to take a look at this. It's at Hanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida, and Devin's going to put up all the videos that he's going to compile, and about 100 photos of this car, so that you have a good idea, a very good idea of what you're buying from Hanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida. This is a nice car.